This video is a Gamergate 2014 retrospective. My goal with this video is an attempt to explain a few things to people about Gamergate, about feminism, and to kind of explain how the two correlate. Lately, I've been seeing a bit of pushback from people, specifically individuals that have remained neutral on Gamergate. A lot of people say Gamergate should avoid being anti-feminist because feminism is about equality. Now, I'd like to show how feminism really isn't about equality anymore, and it's really just about protecting women from criticism or scrutiny in any way. Gamergate began when two people ended their relationship. The ex-boyfriend, Eron, wrote a tell-all blog post regarding his ex-girlfriend, Zoe, on August 16, 2014. Eron first attempted to talk about Zoe on the Something Awful and Penny Arcade forums. However, his threads were quickly deleted. Eventually, he turned to WordPress and created the infamous Zoe post. In it, Eron gave the impression that Zoe was sleeping with men to advance her career. According to Eron, she had slept with at least 5 different guys during a time they were supposed to be exclusive. Their entire relationship lasted less than 6 months. This could have been dismissed, if not for the fact that a semi-famous writer at Kotaku was involved. Everything appeared to be true. It really looked like a journalist may have gotten a small indie game developer favorable coverage. However, many, including myself, were skeptical. Naturally, gamers went on the internet to discuss the issue. Everywhere gamers went, their threads, their comments, their posts, their videos, all deleted. It's rather strange. It was as if all these different websites were working together to prevent access to information. So this, of course, invoked the Streisand effect, gathering many, many gamers to start looking at this. The media just absolutely attacked. It was called a sexist crusade, just for looking into it, and also held the entire gaming community responsible for the harassment of Zoe Quinn. As people were trying to find out information, the Internet Aristocrat made a video on this topic, and gamers everywhere started looking into these issues. Who was Zoe Quinn? Who is Nathan Grayson? What exactly is going on at Kotaku? How does this have to do with Rock, Paper, Shotgun? What does this have to do with the Indie Game Festival? What does this have to do with Diglett or Digra? But anyway, gamers everywhere were talking about corruption and ethics in video game journalism. GamesNosh wrote an article on the Zoe Quinn story. For some reason, their web host demanded they remove the article. I've heard of web hosts taking such actions when a site has torrents or copyright infringing downloads, but this was just news reporting. And not only that, but it was news reporting of internet relationship drama. So I don't see how it was a bad thing at all. I mean, this is seriously censorship of news reporting. So after the article was taken down on GamesNosh, people were going to the Wayback Machine, and they were looking at it there. Well, Zoe Quinn herself contacted the owners of the Wayback Machine and had the page removed. She seriously has that kind of power to where she can get that sort of thing done, and she can get stuff removed not only from the internet by pressuring a web host, but she can get stuff removed from the internet by pressuring the Wayback Machine, which is supposed to be the archive of all things lost. And yet she has control over that somehow. It was later restored, like both the pages were restored, but I mean, this was censorship, and it was censorship invoked by Zoe Quinn. I mean, it's absolutely amazing that she was able to do that. A feature of the GamesNosh article was a Twit Longer post by Total Biscuit. The post was also submitted to Reddit. 25,000 comments were then deleted by Reddit moderators. One of these moderators communicated with Zoe Quinn and stated the removal of the comments was to prevent doxing. One moderator that disliked the censorship taking place on Reddit was removed from their position. In an audio interview, he explained that Reddit was very cliquish. Also, that Reddit's rules were undefined. That meant that moderators could do pretty much anything they wanted, which included censoring information or users. Almost all major gaming websites participated in the censoring of the story. NeoGAF, in particular, was extremely aggressive in its censorship of the Zoe Quinn story. They banned users for merely asking questions about it. Bogey2988, a famous and popular YouTuber, was banned from NeoGAF simply for asking what was going on. He wasn't there to cause trouble. He just wanted information. Not only did NeoGAF censor information by banning users, they also mocked those users on the forum afterwards. 4chan, famous throughout the internet as being known as a place where literally anything goes. They allow it all. Conspiracy theories, porn, pictures of poop, just anything. You get the idea. This, of all places, also participated in the censorship of the Zoe Quinn story. And when it was first happening, they heavily moderated it. And then, over time, once it turned into Gamergate, they banned talk of it for months. This coming from a place where people regularly post pictures of people taking a shit. That's the kind of website this was. And somehow, Zoe Quinn was able to control that. The one place people were treated with respect was on the escapist forums. However, Ben Kuchera, editor of Polygon, and Kyle Orland of Ars Technica pressured Greg Tito, editor of The Escapist, to participate in the censorship. Luckily for the world, Ben said no, which is great because it's nice that someone stands up for freedom of speech every once in a while. Stephen Totillo says that he did not find compelling evidence that Nathan Grayson was trading sex for favorable coverage of Zoe Quinn. Nothing had happened, and no one would be punished. Given the circumstantial evidence, and given all the censorship, no one was inclined to believe Totillo. However, going after Grayson was a dead end. It's really important you understand this. A lot of people have criticized Gamergate as being about hatred of women. They note that Grayson didn't receive as much hate as Quinn. The thing is, Gamergate gave up on going after Grayson when it was clear that Totillo would do nothing. This was August 20th, 2014. This was only 4 days after the Zoe post was created. If you report someone to their boss, and their boss does nothing, there isn't a whole lot more you can do. Which is why we started protesting the site. That's why we started protesting Gawker. Because of these actions. But anyway, Gamergate also moved on to look at the bigger picture. The fact that all this censorship was going on, and that obviously these different websites seem to be working together to control information. So that was a really big issue. But let's just stop here for a moment. Let's reflect on this, okay? Zoe Quinn, through her friend or friends in the media, was able to censor information about herself across the entire internet. Can you do that? Could I? I certainly can't. But Zoe Quinn can. If I was harassed online, would MSNBC run the story? No, they would not. It seems to me that Zoe Quinn was doing just fine. It seems to me that she emotionally abused her boyfriend. Then, when he tried to speak out against her, she used her influence in digital media to shut him up. Amazingly, she was able to shut him out of nearly every major gaming website known to Western civilization. And she did this before. She attacked a site called WizardChan, claiming that they had doxed her, or had some nudie photos of her or something. Anyway, it was never true, but Zoe thought it was. So she got websites like Kotaku to write hit pieces on Wizard Chain. Throughout Gamergate, she's played the victim. But the truth is that it was her that dragged the mainstream media into this. It was her that went on TV to say she was being harassed. Gamergate happened because journalists were willing to defend Zoe Quinn at all costs. They took Zoe at her word when the Wizard Chan thing happened, even though it turned out to be false. Then, her breakup with Eron is a threat to her, so she calls on all her feminist friends to help her block Eron from getting the information out. Feminists have a lot of power these days. Their influence can be felt in newspapers, television, magazines, and even websites dedicated mostly to hentai and trolling. When one feminist can turn the internet and the media against one man over a relationship, we have a serious problem. Eron did nothing wrong. As Zoe says, it's no one's business. I agree, it's no one's business, except the couple involved. If I break up with a girl, I'll tell my side of the story, just like she will. There's no need to call Kotaku or MSNBC. It's just some drama that will quickly pass. Zoe wasn't okay with that. She wanted him stopped. She wanted him silenced. So she pulled every string, tried every tactic, called in every favor. I wouldn't call Zoe Quinn a victim. I would gladly take a year or two of the abuse that she suffered to be paid $4,000 a month to be a video game developer that does nothing but sit on my ass on Twitter all day and bitch about my life.